Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about healing or balancing our energies with the tarot. So I'd like to start this by saying that at one point in human history, the most intelligent people in the world believed that everything that exists was made up of some combination of the four known elements: fire, earth, air, and water. Take this stone, for example. This is just a regular stone that I found on a hike many years ago, and it came to me as a healing stone. And an ancient Greek, for example, might look at this stone and say, well, of course it's made of earth. It's part of the earth element. It's a rock. But he may also say that some small portion of this rock contains fire, earth, air, and water. Maybe it was shaped by fire. Maybe it was in a riverbed at one time and the water flowed over it many years and made it smooth. And there are certain pockets of microscopic tiny little bits of water or air inside the stone somewhere trapped. And so the stone is not 100% stone, but a combination of the four elements. Now, anyone who has ever studied science or the periodic table of the elements knows that this is not true, but the concept of the four elements in us can still be used in our healing practices. How does the four elements or how are they represented in our bodies? Let's take a look. So fire may be present in the form of our body heat. Earth is our flesh and blood. Air is our breath, and we all know that our body passes gas from time to time. And finally, water is present in the form of our blood, sweat, urine, and other bodily fluids. So when these four elements are out of balance in ourselves, they have physical and spiritual symptoms. For example, if you have too much earth, you may feel lazy, you may feel unmotivated, you may feel too grounded. It can manifest as constipation. If you have too much water in your system, water energy, it can result in being overly emotional. Think of a woman who's pregnant. It can result in having very strong empathy for other people. It can result in diarrhea and vomiting because you have too much water energy in your system and your body is trying to bring it back to balance by getting rid of some of that water. So having too much or too little of each of the elements, again, in your body can result in spiritual and physical symptoms that can be remediated. But how do we give ourselves a sort of elemental checkup? Well, one way to do this is with your tarot cards. Now, just like our bodies have fire, earth, air, and water, the tarot contains fire, earth, air, and water. Oh, I want to go back and say there is a fifth element of spirit, which animates our body, but that wasn't really considered in the ancient times. It wasn't part of the science, I would say. But the tarot also contains an element of spirit. So I should have pulled these cards beforehand. Let's just go. So pentacles represent earth. Wands represent fire. Swords would represent earth. And cups would represent the element of water in our bodies. Now going back to that fifth element, I just had a major arcana card here a minute ago. The major arcana would represent the element of spirit. So, now as you know, there are 56 minor arcana and only 22 major arcana. So the chances of you of pulling a minor arcana are much greater than you pulling a major arcana. Now, I know some of my students I taught this to, they want to pull 5 cards, one for each of the elements: earth, fire, air, water, and spirit. I was taught to only pull 4 cards for the 4 elements. Now the thing about this is any spirit card can make up for a missing element. So here you would see fire, air, and water are represented, but earth, the pentacles that I took away, is not represented. But when we pull the spirit card, this spirit card can make up for that lack of fire. The reason for this is that the spirit is composed of these 4 elements, but none, and then when you have all 4 elements represented, they among themselves create the 5th element of spirit. But there is no one single element card here that can make up for the element of spirit. So with that in mind, we assess how the energies of fire, earth, air, and water are in our bodies or are attached to our spirits at any given time, basically by shuffling the cards and laying them out just like I did a moment ago. So as I make this video, before I shuffle it, as I make this video, about 24 hours ago, I had surgery to remove 6 wisdom teeth. Yes, I said 6. Most people think you have 4. Some people have less than 4. Some people have more than 4, and it just so happens I had 6. And yes, they probably should have been taken out a long time ago since I'm 44, but be that as it may, 24 hours ago I had surgery. Right now I have minimal swelling. My speech no longer seems to be affected. Bleeding has long stopped, and my body is going through the healing process. I am taking ibuprofen for pain, amoxicillin for staving off infection, and OxyContin I think is also for pain, but it makes me sleepy. So I'm going to use myself as an example here and shuffle these cards and see how the energies are represented in myself at this time, and what I might do in order to bring balance to them as necessary. So again, I'm just shuffling the cards. And I have no set number of times that I do this. I just do it until I feel that it's right, okay? Then I'm gonna cut them into 4 stacks, you see here. And then I'm going to turn them over. Now, I do want to say before I turn these over, you don't have to know anything about the cards in order to do this. We're not necessarily reading the individual meanings of the card or what each card placement means. Like my favorite 4-card spread is past, present, future, outcome. There's a lot of different meanings you can assign to these 4 positions, but that's my favorite. But anyway, we're not really looking at what each individual card means. We're just looking at the element. So here we have 5 of Pentacles, which represents earth. We have the 6 of Swords, which represents air. We have another air card, which is the 10 of Swords. And we have another Pentacle card. So what we see here is right now I have earth and air. So what am I missing? I'm missing fire and water. So what does this tell me about what I need to do? So in order to make up for that lack of fire and water in my life, what I might do is I may dress myself in fiery colors such as red, pink, warm type colors. I may eat spicy foods once I'm back on solid foods. I might surround myself with candles, lit candles, to bring that fire energy into my life. What can I do to bring in water? I can obviously drink water, which I probably need to do to stay hydrated anyway. I haven't really been doing that since I came home. I can set out little bowls of water around me to help balance that fire that I'm going to light those candles. I can surround myself with cool colors. And those are some of the ways that I can help bring the fire and water energy into my life. As I write this, I just now thought of this. I just got finished taking a hot bath without even doing these cards. So that pulled in the element of warmth or fire and the element of water. So that's another way that I can combine the fire and water to help me heal. Also, I've been eating a lot of hot chicken soup. So hot soup is both fire and water. These are things that I've just been doing without even knowing to pull these cards here. We'll also notice that looking at these cards, earth cards are female, air cards are male. So we have a good balance between male, masculine, active, and female passive energies. So that would also tells me that right now I am getting a good balance between being active, getting up, walking around, doing light cleaning, getting enough physical activity where I don't get too sore, and I'm balancing that with enough rest. So again, that is one way that you can help balance the energies in your body and you're attached to your spirit in order to bring yourself to healing. I think that's about all I can say on this subject. So thank you and have a great day, everyone.